We now move to an organization that in many ways shapes the thought leadership for private hospitals in India. And I'm talking of Apollo. From Kiran, I actually have two questions for you. One, very briefly, if you could walk us through your experience of having to keep the hospitals not just open, but really Apollo was in the thick of the COVID fight. What was that experience like in managing such a vast workforce? The second, and you know what, the one thing that I've always noticed about Apollo hospitals, and even in my role when I've tried to poach employees, Apollo employees are the hardest to poach. Okay, so what's that secret sauce, especially in these times, that actually helps you keep your employees rooted, grounded to the organization, when otherwise the industry is a high attrition industry? So I think that is something we would really like to know from you, of what helps you keep your attrition low and commitment level so high, and how are you still able to balance, let's say, compassion and cost optimization? Over to you, Kiran.
Sure. Thank you, Indrani. Thank you for everybody to joining me. Two questions, same time, so I'll be fast, but I'll try and share as many experiences as I can. Uh, uh, we were one industry where all others were enjoying or working from the comfort of their home using technology. We had to be on the forefront in the battlefield with our warriors to be able to actually fight this unknown and unseen enemy who just came on to us in no time. Even being in hospital, we did not expect that on 24th of March there'll be a lockdown. While we were preparing for it, here came the lockdown. And if you see, hospitals are one industry, one entities, which are not affected by anything that happens on the globe. Always patients are sick, people are coming in, and we keep treating. And the healthcare people are not impacted by any of the epidemics. As Mr. Datta said, we had several epidemics in the past, several pandemics in the past, MARS, SARS, etc. But healthcare workers were always safe. Here is one pandemic where we have the healthcare workers exposed. There's a risk for the healthcare worker. The patient who is coming in may be the carrier, and they may transmit to the workers. And if we don't take precautions, the healthcare workers may transmit to the subsequent patients. So here came a situation where the candle was burning from both the sides. We had to take care of our patients. We had to take care of our people. We have to prepare for the unexpected. Unexpected because when this came to India, not much was known about this virus. Not much was known about its treatment. People said the hydroxychloroquine will work. People said no, any of the antiretroviral drugs will work. Some said no, some other class of drugs will work, and so on and so forth. While this was happening on one side, and we were figuring out what's right for the patients and what's the right thing to do in terms of clinical protocols, we had challenges with our people. And the biggest challenge was the safety of our members. We call our employees as members, and that's why you will keep listening the word members from me. How do you keep the safety and security and make your workplace safe for the members, and therefore your hospitals safe for the patients? So we created a quick concept called Apollo Kavach. Right? You know Kavach, all of us know what is Kavach. And that answers a lot of questions as to, will I get this disease? Will my hospital take care of me if I have this problem? Am I covered under insurance? If something happens to me, will my family be cared for, etc.? And we have created a quick docket which answers all these questions to people. Did several forms of communication, right from the leadership communication to the HR communication to the departmental head communication to communication using IT tools and techniques, so that we reach out to every member of the Apollo family and assure them that they are safe. While doing this, we had to quickly get in certain technology to implement safety. We quickly bought some robots so that registration and other things are taken care of. We bought UV sanitizers so that the premises is kept safe at most of the time. We actually used some experience for a couple of weeks when we started treating COVID patients to say that while you treat COVID patients with the PPEs, there is not even one member of the Apollo family in the last 3 months who has contacted COVID. So what we have actually demonstrated, right, over the period of time is that it is much safer to be in the hospital than to be in the community and be exposed to the community transmission. We quickly changed the clinical protocols. We started off with a lot of e-consults. We came up with this app, Apollo 24/7, which we launched on 5th February this year. We quickly update We quickly promoted it. We had all our doctors get onto the Apollo 24/7 app so that, we are available for the patients, because COVID coming hasn't stopped heart attacks happening, hasn't stopped strokes happening, hasn't stopped any of the normal NCDs or the other diseases happening. So therefore, we too continue to get emergencies, and we had to be prepared to take these. So therefore, even the surgical interventions, we shifted them to robotic surgeries to the extent possible, and at the same time creating all distancing protocols, the physical distancing protocols, etc. The second, biggest challenge was the logistics challenge. Many of our members were coming on their cars, using public transport, and so on and so forth. Now, how do people come? Public transport is shut. Own conveyance is limited. Even that, the authorities weren't allowing. So we had to overnight print stickers, provide stickers to our members saying that they are on duty, give letters. We have given thousands of letters, because we are one organization who are spread over 72 locations with about 45 large hospitals, 60,000 workforce just between the hospitals and pharmacy. Then you have outsourced workforce, etc. So how do you reach out to these 60,000 people? So we had to literally make every manager, an HR manager, make them do all this so that we are able to reach out to every member in the Apollo family overnight to their houses using our vehicles. So we had to, we at Apollo have employee buses, but we had to hire hundreds of buses, create new routes, because there is a social distancing norm in place, and ferry people to the work every day. We are doing it for the last 3 months, and we'll continue to do. The third challenge was the accommodation challenges. A lot of our nurses, etc., live in our hostels. There are several of them who live at their homes. Right, people who work in COVID wards cannot be mixed with others. We had to reshuffle the hostels. We had to create separate COVID hostels. People who lived with their families, we had to tell them that they cannot go back to their family for the next 15 days, 1 month, etc. Because after treating COVID patients, you have to be quarantined. So, so ensure that that's taken care of. So we had to create enormous amount of accommodation facilities, and therefore facilities like food, etc., to take care of them. The fourth one was in terms of psychological, challenges. At the end of the day, everybody is a human being. There's a fear factor that what happens to me, okay, if it happens to me, what about my family? Am I carrying the infection from the hospital to the family, etc.? The families wouldn't allow these members to come to the hospital and work, saying that, hey, why do you want to go and work at this stage when it is so much of risk? So we had to engage with the families, the spouses, the parents, the kids, answer a lot of their questions, and we used to engage with them on the webinars, saying that if your soldiers run away from the borders, you put your country at risk. Here are Apollo warriors who are fighting this unknown enemy, unseen enemy, and this is our responsibility towards the society, towards the community, towards the fellow human beings, and for the existence of the human nature, human beings on Earth. We have to do a lot of motivational work in terms of giving several examples, to the members. And we did that with our own leaders. Our 80-plus-year-old chairman was on the floor with the people, not wearing a mask, not using a hand sanitizer, went around to different hospitals to demonstrate that if he doesn't fear it at the age of 80 and with comorbidity factors, we don't have anything to fear about. So we got the best of the equipment like PPEs and other things, and we have taken care of it. While doing that, another challenge when all this was happening was the motivation and morale of the people. So apart from communication, we were giving them a lot of information of what's happening on COVID across the world, across the globe. What is the seriousness? What is the death rates? What is the mortality? How do you take care of yourself, and so on and so forth. And we were reaffirming the members about their job safety, job security, etc., because that was another thing that they were worried about. We were going the extra mile by giving them extra benefits. We have introduced something called as a COVID allowance. That's one way to recognize people. We started doing recognition programs to them, all in all, and making them feel that if the soldiers, if the warriors of the country, the Army, Navy, and the Air Force have gone up and saluted you, they recognize what you're doing. These things really, really helped us in actually, preparing ourselves. And today, I must say that we are both available for COVID and non-COVID work, and we are able to do extremely well. Answering to your second question, Indrani, in terms of we being Apollo stickiness, right? Very interesting. A lot of people keep asking me this question. I'll give you 4-5 mantras of what it actually means, of why there is so much of stickiness. Apollo, if you see for the last 37 years, has believed that every member working in Apollo is an Apollo family member. And the promoters, which is our chairman, the 4 daughters, and the senior leadership team, have always dealt with every member with a paternalistic approach. They look at it as their own parents, as their own brothers, and as their own sisters. And in the process, they feel very comfortable to come and express to us what their issues are, what their problems are. If you see Apollo in the last 37 years, rarely you will find cases, except for there are financial issues or other issues, anybody being told to go. People are accommodated, people are used for their positives, people are used for the skills that they have. There is upskilling, there is reskilling. There people are used for their strengths, and they are moved across industries, across jobs. While doing this, there is a lot of internal growth opportunities that are available for the people within Apollo. If you see in the last 35 years, Apollo rarely picks up their senior management team members from the industry. They, from any other industry within the healthcare industry or outside the healthcare industry. They usually grow their talent within. I can give examples of a front office assistant or a receptionist becoming the COO of a large hospital, chief operating officer of a large hospital. I can give examples of a housekeeping supervisor becoming a unit head, and so on and so forth. I have hundreds of such examples. So when you can see that irrespective of what you are, you have opportunity to learn, you have an opportunity to grow, and you can target what you want to become, and you become, then you have an opportunity. The internal growth is the second mantra. The third is our leadership team is very compassionate and caring for every member. When I came here new, I used to find when people put up small requests, our management used to just approve without really thinking much. And when I approached some of my promoters and asked, why do you do that? We have policies in place, we have the processes in place, etc. They say, hey, Kiran, this lakh rupees is not going to make a difference to you, but it'll make a difference to the person who wants it today. So it doesn't matter. And believe me, in the last 3.5 years that I've been here, I picked up that approach. I implement this every day, and that caring approach towards your member beyond your policies and processes with a humane heart makes a huge difference to bring in high loyalty among people and low attrition. I have not seen it. Yeah, I know the time. The last one, is basically, what I'm talking about. The DNA of the organization or the culture of the organization getting imbibed into the members, each and every member, and getting reinforced, and that actually helps us in sustaining this culture irrespective of people.
Thank you so much, Kiran. And I think what touched me when you spoke.
Extraordinary points, I think, and we, on behalf of, I think, maybe all the participants, because I'm getting so many messages, and maybe all the panelists, really thank Apollo Hospitals for their extraordinary efforts during this pandemic and during this uncertain times. You are really the COVID warriors who are in the thick of the battle and trying to save the patients. So really, and wonderful, I think, culture that Apollo has. So really thank you. And also on the lighter side, I think Mr. Arun Datta had asked a question that there are very few people who have seen the Spanish flu and seen this current pandemic, the coronavirus crisis. So, sir, I was just thinking, and I remember 2 names. One is the Queen of England, and the second is our own MDH, Mashian Di Hatti Chacha Ji. So both these have survived, and I think they will survive many more. So over to you, Indrani. Sorry for...
No, that's fine. And thanks, Kiran. I think what really touched me as you spoke was the way your leadership team has actually articulated compassion so unequivocally, and I think provided psychological safety and support to the employees. Great.